All right, you're good to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Jets Nation Radio, welcome back. It's the off-season edition. We are actually back on a full-time guest.
Yeah.
Co-host?
Co-host? I feel like co-host is probably the way to go with
Yeah,
that
I
one.
think so. So this is Sam Brownell.
Howdy.
Howdy. So a little backstory on you. Where are you from?
Born and raised Winnipeg.
Love it. When did you become a Jets fan?
As soon as it was announced that they were moved here.
Love it. And favorite Jet growing up?
Growing up, Zach Bogosian.
Zach Bogosian.
He was the number one when they moved here. Have a number 4 Bogo jersey that I absolutely love.
Oh.
So
So we found the right guy for the co-host here.
Well, I guess we'll see about that, but I would say so.
Right on. All right, so we've had a very busy off-season so far. There was all that Trotz talk. We hired Rick Bowness. What are your thoughts on the Bowness hirings?
I had some mixed feelings when it first happened. I was all in on Trotz. I was ready for it. I thought for sure it was going to happen 100%. And then we find out he's not coming. Not sure what was going to happen. I thought maybe go young.
Yeah.
I thought maybe going young was the right thing to do. They hire Bowness. I hear his first opening interview and I am all in.
Sold. Totally sold.
I've listened to it a couple times. 100% in, all the way. Gotta go with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
And he brings in like a defensive game to the Jets, which we're kind of lacking that
A little
skill.
desperate for that. Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be really good for a few guys like Scheifele, who really struggled defensively last year. So I think that will really help him. I think it'll elevate other guys' games. Kyle Connor was showing some great defensive prowess last year, and the years before that, he's done some penalty killing. I think he could really take a step. And then the young defensemen, I think this will give them a great opportunity under Scott Arniel and Rick Bowness to really show what they can do if they're actually given the opportunity for once.
Oh, exactly. Hopefully we can actually see Billy Hanel get in more than 8
I hope
games
so.
this year.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Fingers and
but
toes
you
crossed.
never know. The Paul Maurice era is over, at least here. He's moved on to Florida, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes for his young defensemen.
We'll see if it was actually the team's fault or if it was his fault.
You never know.
You never know.
I guess we'll find out this year.
Yeah, and I mean, like, schedule's out too.
The schedule is out.
Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't look at it too hard. I just know that we're not playing enough Canadian teams this year. That's like what I'm genuinely upset about.
We got a little spoiled with the all Canadian division.
Really did.
It was fun. I don't think I'd like it all the time because it made me hate the Canadian teams more, which kind of sucks because like, yay Canada, go Canada, all the way.
But at the same time, hating the Toronto Maple Leafs brought me so much joy. Like, day in and
I'll
day
hate
out.
them forever.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that. I'll definitely hate them forever. It just it made me hate like Nils Hoglander. Why did I hate him? Because he was tough to play against. But if you don't play him 10 times a year, you don't hate him as much. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, you kind of forget about the Vancouver Canucks as a whole. You're like, oh yeah, those guys.
I have to give a shout out to my brother-in-law, big Canucks fan, so I can't forget about them too much or he'll be mad at me.
I can forget about them on a regular basis. I grew up an Oilers fan, and anytime I can hate on the Canucks, it's a great day. So who's going to benefit the most? I know you kind of went over it, but defensemen that are currently established, who's going to benefit the most?
Well, currently established is tough because I want to say Billy, but I don't know how that's going to do. I think Pionk had an off year. He was really good 2 years ago. I just think he wasn't really clicking last year, so I think that'll really help him. Morrissey was great last year. I think he just needs to keep going with that.
Yeah.
So I think really the young guys, it depends on what moves they make in free agency. Is there going to be a roster spot open for a Dylan Sandberg, who I'm a big fan of, or a Ville Heinola to come in and kind of show what they can do and learn under these guys?
Yeah, so like you bring up free agency here. Like, are the Jets going to do much, do you think, for free agency, or is it going to be a real quiet one here in Winnipeg?
I think that depends on the next couple of days. It's what's going to happen with trades. Is Blake Wheeler going to be a Jet? Is Pierre-Luc Dubois going to be a Jet? So I think there's a lot of RFAs on the Jets roster right now that need to be kind of figured out, and a few question marks around guys. I think Mark Scheifele is going to stay. At the end of the year, I wasn't sure, but I think he's still going to be a Jet, and I do think he's going to really benefit from Bowness. I'm not sure about Wheeler. It's so up in the air
It
right
is.
now.
Like, he's number 2 on Sarah Valley's trade target list. I've been trying to contact those guys at Daily Faceoff and give me a team where...
Give us some insider info.
I know, right? It's a pain to get a hold of them. It's the worst when you're the one guy... Now the 2 guys in Winnipeg, plus Ava, that are contributing to Jets Nation, but
Yeah,
we'll make it come back.
It'll be a big question mark what happens. Who's going to be the Jets' backup goalie next year? I'd love to see it be Eric Comrie. I'd love for them to find a little cap space to make that happen.
How much do you pay Comrie if you have the money for it?
It's tough because, like, he's not going to play that many games. In reality, it's Connor Hellebuck's backup. You're not going to get that many games. How much are you willing to pay a guy when you could...
But I mean, if he's going to win you the majority of those games, like, what did he win? He won 75%
He
of his
was
points
absolutely fantastic last year, and I owe him an apology if I ever see him in person because I did not think that was going to happen.
I think everyone in Winnipeg needs to line up and go.
Yeah, and he made us eat crow, but
yeah.
He was fantastic. I'm really disappointed the Jets didn't get him those games. What was it, 5 or 6 more games down the stretch when they were already out of the playoffs?
Yeah.
It would have been great for his career. He would have benefited from that.
Would have been an RFA.
Unbelievably. He would have been an RFA, and then it's under the Jets' control. And no one's going to offer Sheet a backup goalie.
No, I mean, maybe Toronto at this point, because they are so desperate for a goaltender.
and it's funny to see guys like Frederick Anderson leave town and then light it up because, that pressure's off your back. You're not worried about the entire city of Toronto just crapping on you all season long when you are actually a fairly good goalie.
Yeah, well, and I think with Rick Bowness coming in, I think Hellebuck will see significantly less games. I believe he'll only play about, I'm going to say, probably 50, and the rest will go to whoever the backup is.
I think that's a good idea because you don't want to burn a guy out. He only has 2 years left on his contract. Realistically, he probably only has 2 years left in Winnipeg.
Unless there's a cup run.
Maybe a cup run could keep him, but I don't know. It seems like that room got a little toxic last year, and it sounds like a lot of guys are pretty much ready. But with a change up top with the coaching, if they trade Wheeler and have a change in the leadership group in the room, you never know what's going to happen, what might make guys stay. Please, Pierre-Luc, please stay. Please.
But also kick rocks if you're not going to stay.
Trade him to Philly if he decides. Make him go deal with torts for the next 2 years.
I think you just send him to Columbus just so it's like, hey, you went from Winnipeg to shittier Winnipeg.
Get Laine back here.
Honestly, I think you kind of need the Jets need right-handed guys right now. I know
they need some righties.
I know that Laine plays on his left side, but.
Yeah, and I mean, trading Wheeler would be tough because then you're not looking at a ton of right-handed players. No. Well, it opens up a lot of cap space, but you need to find right-handed guys.
But who's going to pay Wheeler H. Schmill?
That's another issue, but you could retain cap for a few years.
Well, and what I thought would have happened, and this is the Oilers bias in me talking, is I thought it would have been a Jesse Puljujärvi, Zach Kassian, and a first 2 years from now for Wheeler. Because the Edmonton Oilers are losing out on that leadership with Duncan Keith retiring. I would have been all in on that one, but
that could have been a good move for them, but
I think it's a solid move for Winnipeg as well. I mean,
you just want Puljujärvi.
I want Puljujärvi. Zach Kassian. That's basically it. But Zach Kassian, if you anger up the blood, you get them all Winnipeg-like.
Yeah.
Man, that could have been a great...
I can't stand Kassian, but I'd love to see him in a Jets jersey.
Right? Yeah, but unfortunately he's going to be playing in Arizona, poor guy.
Yeah, in a 5,000-seat rink.
Woo! And won't even sell out because ticket prices down in Arizona are now astronomical.
So you couldn't give away tickets before, and now they're ramping them up.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
Poor Phoenix fans. Okay, so draft was last week. How'd you like that?
There were some good moves. I like Rutger McGroarty. As I'm gonna fight saying his name for the next decade, but
I did some TikToks this weekend talking about Rutger, and there was several times where I was like Rutger.
Yeah, McGroarty is almost the harder one. The extra R just throws me off every time. After a couple seasons of him scoring 45 and leading the league in penalty minutes,
have you seen
we're gonna start calling him Magoti.
Oh, he is gonna be Magoti. We're coining that. We're taking that.
Yeah.
So everyone else, you gotta pay us royalties now.
But I think that was a great pick.
Well, have you ever seen a draft pick for the Jets be that excited to go play for Winnipeg?
I mean, he's from Nebraska. So.
Yeah. Well,
no offense to people in Nebraska, but
what else you got going on there? The Colorado Avalanche?
I think he's going to be a tough player. He needs to work on his skating, but he knows that, and he's been working on it. I like the Kachuk comparison. I like a guy who's hard to play against. When Brendan Lemieux was in town, I liked him.
Yeah.
He's something else, but I liked him on the team because he just had a screw loose. I loved Trouba.
Yeah.
Because, again, he could just flip a switch and be that guy. Pierre-Luc Dubois last year was amazing. Who knows how long he'll be around if he can recapture what he did last year. I think he can, but I think McGroarty has a chance to be that tough to play against, hard in the slot, goal scorer that can just bang him in off Kyle Connor's rebounds.
Fair enough. Okay, so one thing I've noticed is Cheveldayoff loves his American boys.
Yes.
So we got Trouba, Kopp, Laurie, just to rattle off a couple of them. Now McGroarty?
So
Rutger.
close.
Rutger.
Magoti.
We got these guys. Do you think he's going to end up in somewhere else because there's that kind of toxic Canadianism in the Jets locker room right now?
I think there's so many Americans that it's hard to have that toxic Canadianism. Like, if you look at the Jets roster, there's not that many
No,
Canadians.
but I mean, like, you got Shark Mifley there who could be taking that one.
That's true. But no, I don't think so. I think, and look at the guys coming in. You have Chaz Lucius, you have, who else? You have some Americans coming in. They keep picking Americans.
Yeah, when everyone was like, yeah, let's go for Connor Geekie. A, I didn't think he was going to make it 14. And B, I was like, he's an American. Chevy doesn't like his Canadian boys. He likes the Americans.
I thought you were saying Connor Geekie was an American.
No, he's Manitoban. I know better. Come on.
Come on. That's on me.
No, I'm just kind of curious because it seems like he loves his American players, but they just don't stick around for as long as we want them, except for Laurie at this point.
Yeah, Laurie's Canadian.
He's born in the States, so I know he's Canadian, but he's American by birth.
I don't know. I think you throw that out. I don't think it matters where the guy's born. I think you create a locker room that people want to be in,
mm-hmm.
and I think McGroarty's going to contribute to that. He seemed like a great interview. He was happy to be here. He was laughing. He's FaceTiming guys. He was FaceTiming Garrett Brown. They grew up together. Both got drafted to Winnipeg. So I think he's going to bring, once he eventually makes the team, I think he's going to bring this energy to the locker room that is just a great thing to have.
Absolutely.
Something, you can't compare anyone or anything to Dustin Byfuglien, but something that has been missing in the Jets locker room since Byfuglien.
It's just that swagger almost.
It's just a guy that's, I guess Nate Schmidt gives you a bit of that, but obviously the negativity in some of the leadership group, Blake Wheeler, was too much for even Nate Schmidt to smile through.
Yeah. But he did it day in and day out, helped Logan Stanley. And going back to Bowness, I think Logan Stanley is going to take a huge step forward with Bowness in the...
I would love to see that.
I
want to see the big man succeed. I know some people are already out on him, but I just think I know it's
hard to
big,
sell,
but you can't teach 6'7".
You can't. No.
You can't.
No.
And you can't compare him to Zdeno Chara, but Zdeno Chara could not skate when he got into the NHL.
No. How long
he was horrible for a couple of years.
Yeah, well,
give
Ottawa,
Stanley a chance.
Ottawa gave up on Zdeno, and then look what he did with Boston. He was a stud all the way through, and even up until he's 45 now, and still cracking lineups. So the guy's still.
I mean, he's also just a freak of nature athletically, so it's hard to compare anyone to him, but. I feel like when Logan Stanley got into the organization, not necessarily into the league, but even with the Moose, he was still growing. He was just 6'7" and 18 years old. You can't be used to your body at that point.
No, and he's putting on the weight slowly but surely. So I'm just sold that Logan Stanley is going to thrive under Bowness. So
yeah, I just think you need to make room for Villanola, Dylan Sandberg. Like, you got to get those guys into the lineup now, or you're just wasting their talents.
Well, we were talking about it this week where it's like maybe you need to be swapping those guys in day out. So it's like, doesn't matter how great you played, unless you're really needed in that position, you know, you got to sit out 2 more games and get back into it. And I know it's a slow roll, but it's
I think you, if anything, need 2 roster spots for those 3 and you rotate them. I don't think you go... I think they need more than 28 games or whatever it is. And I guess they would be there to step in for injuries or anything else, so it would end up being more for each of them. But you don't want to bank on that.
No.
So I think you need to move, unfortunately, maybe a Brendan Dillon. Or, like, Brendan Dillon, I think, is a solid player. He's on a good contract. You have him for a couple more years. But I think you might have to move him to make space for those young guys who maybe took more of a step than Chevy was expecting this year. And that's why he went and got Brendan Dillon and Nate Schmidt. Maybe you didn't need to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I fully agree with you, but you can't, like, the pandemic messed so much stuff up that it just...
Yeah, it made things tough,
yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't scout worth a damn. All right, going back to our draftees, we got Brad Lambert, 30th overall. I was over the moon excited that he fell to 30.
So I did some research here, because everyone's on the, why did he fall to 30? He had a down year. The 30th overall pick is a coin flip, essentially. If you go back, I started in 2019, may have been a little early, it probably could have started in 2018. Give John Beecher, who was the 2019 30th overall, a chance. He hasn't played any games. But 2018, you got Joe Veleno to Detroit, decent, 71 games, 16 points. Then you have a couple good ones. 2017 was Eli Tolvainen for Nashville. 2016, Trent Frederick. But then you had a few years in a row where the guys, 2015, 2014, the guys have barely played. 41 games, 42 games. That was 8 years ago and 7 years ago.
Yeah.
After that, you get some good ones. But it's basically, you don't know how a 30th overall pick is going to pan out. And a guy with the upside that Lambert has, I think you have to take that chance on. He's the best skater in this draft. And that's something that's going to be hard to teach. These guys are in their ways already. You never know if someone's going to be able to transition and get that good, quick game. I think Brad Lambert comes to the WHL next year and absolutely lights it up.
Well, and he's playing with the Thunderbirds as well, and like they're going to be competing for a Memorial Cup. That's a huge bonus. He's not playing for some scrub team in the Dub, so that's a great bonus for him. He's no longer in Liga, so he's loosening up a little bit, not playing amongst men, just guys his own age. And they had some other points about him, but yeah, he's just going to do well. I think 1 year with the Moose, maybe a year and a half, and then full time with the Jets. That's
I think it'll be a few years, like one or 2 more years of junior. Yeah. Let him get accustomed to the North American game before it's at the pro level, but he can skate with these guys, so maybe it will be he lights it up next year, and the year after that, maybe, I don't know how Bowness goes in previous years, maybe like a Kyle Connor. Start with the Moose, start lighting it up, and as soon as he gets the opportunity, he's a mainstay in the lineup.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm expecting. Once he's with the Jets, he's stuck with the Jets.
Oh, absolutely.
There isn't going to be anything slowing him down. And I mean, going from Liga to the Dub, he's going to score so much. If everyone, like, I know a lot of people are like, but he didn't score in Liga. It's like, no one scores in Liga. You don't know that game if you're saying that.
Yeah, so. I think the biggest question mark is, what will his attitude be? Is he going to come in with a good, I want to play, I want to be here attitude? Or is it going to kind of be I fell in the draft? Maybe this will be a wake-up call. Mm-hmm. Sliding, like some people had him top 7.
Yeah.
Sliding to 30th overall, this could be a really good wake-up call for him.
Didn't Bobby Margarita have him at like 4th?
There were times, no one like right before the draft as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. But at one point
they were talking about him as being one of the top picks.
Yeah.
And getting him at 30 could be really good for the Jets.
I'm thinking it's going to be a steal and a half on that one.
Let's hope so.
Fingers crossed. We'll skip down. Elias Samuelson. I don't know how to say that correctly.
I don't know. As you look further, again, the 30th overall pick is a coin flip. 55th is a coin flip.
Yeah. But again, this was another guy that was ranked really high at one point. So hard to say. The pandemic messed so much stuff up, but I'm just sold on so many of these guys.
It's a high upside guy, I think he could be a good, solid mainstay defenseman in your lineup. You just have to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And then I'm going to skip all the way down to the 7th round for Dominic Divicentis.
I'm not gonna. I'll leave that one
Yeah,
up to you.
I'm
not
trying
even
my
gonna try
best.
that one.
You're getting a guy with dyslexia trying to read a big name here, so sorry.
So he doesn't have a lot to look at.
But he's played in the OHL, had one of the lower goals against averages with 259, had a 14-8-1 record with North Bay, which was kind of a trash team.
Yeah, and like he was the top goals against average for rookie goaltenders. He made the second all-rookie team for the OHL. So there's something there.
Yeah.
It's a swing. It's a
seventh
seventh
round. But it's a goaltender in the 7th round. You know who went 7th round?
I know where you're going with this.
It was Hendrick. We got the next Hendrick here. Praying on that. So yeah, the draft day was fun. I was very excited there Thursday night for the first round, and even the second and 4th round for the Jets. I'm like, yeah, these guys have a chance.
I'm happy we got to see some draft picks this
Yeah,
year.
right?
I'm happy it was in person. The second day flew by because the second day the last few years has really dragged on. But I'm happy, like last year the Jets had 4 picks. The year before that the Jets had 4 picks. 7 this year, I'm happy with.
Yeah, well, like 2 of those were just kind of surprise picks for us too, because there was that New York one and then the St. Louis pick, which I still don't understand how it became the Jets, but I'll take it.
It was part of the trade, and the Jets got to pick if they wanted it this year. Next year, I think, is what I have no idea.
I don't know. I couldn't follow that one. I was like, okay, cool, we got a draft pick.
Tough to follow along.
Yeah, there's so many things so many moving parts. Okay, Jets. Who are they gonna take anyone in the free agent frenzy coming up Thursday?
It's a tough question, because it's Winnipeg. I love the city, born and raised, absolutely love it. It's tough to get guys to come play here, so you have to throw money at guys.
Either.
Absolutely, and when there's rumors around the league that guys don't want to be here, not rumors, it's just the truth. So I think there's a big question mark around what they do trade-wise. If they trade Blake Wheeler, that'll open up some cap space. If they get rid of Pierre-Luc Dubois, because yes, he's an RFA. Yes, you could sign him for 1 year, see if it's a different situation next summer. I think all that matters to him is winning, and the Jets didn't do that this year, so who knows what he's going to want to do if the Jets potentially go on a run and he sees potential there. But I don't think you can let him get to UFA. I don't think they sign him for 2 years, if anything, just 1.
Where do you sign him for 1 year? Like 5.5?
I'm bad with all of this math. It really just depends on what cap space you have, but probably like 6.
$6 million for Pierre
for I guess for 1 year you're not going to give him quite as much.
No, I'd actually give him a bit of a pay decrease because it's like, you don't want to stick around.
Yeah, exactly.
Kick rocks. What are you going to do?
I'm don't ask me about contracts.
Yeah, I love making stuff
I'll
up.
just get confused.
But like for me, it's like if Pierre wants to get out of here in 2 years, I'll give him the same salary as the last couple and just let him go off to Montreal or trade him right before.
You can't just let him walk away for nothing. No. Not trading Line A for him and Roslovic, and you can't just let him walk for nothing.
Yeah.
So I think if you're going to sign him for 2 years, you're trading him after 1 or after 2 or like at the trade deadline in 2 years as a rental. But I hope they don't let it get to that. I hope they either deal with it before or they figure it out and somehow get him here. One guy, it's an absolute out of nowhere. I don't think the Jets could make it happen, but if you're moving on from Pierre-Luc Dubois, if you move Wheeler and open up some cap space, Nazem Kadri would be an unbelievable pickup if they could make it work.
Are you taking Kadri at, I think he's like 32 now.
He's 31.
31, okay.
He had some injuries.
Yep.
Like he had surgery in the middle of the playoffs, but he proved he can do it in the playoffs. He brings some almost leadership to the team, a guy that just won a Stanley Cup. The problem is, I think the price and length would just be too high. I think you'd be shooting yourself in the foot long term. But if you could make it work on something that works for him and the team, if you need that number 2 center, I love Cole Perfetti. I don't know if he's an NHL number 2 center yet. I think he could dominate on the wing. but I don't know if he hasn't played that many NHL games, and putting him into his second line center role, who knows? Maybe they'll sign Andrew Copp.
Oh man,
He's a guy that can play up.
Well, and he wants a Zach Hyman contract, so he wants 7 years, roughly around 5.5575.
I would do that in a second. I just don't think he wants to come to Winnipeg. I think the arbitration process kills a relationship between a team and a player.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, guys like Copp, guys like Trouba, as soon as they go through arbitration,
done.
Gone.
Well, I mean, also playing in Winnipeg, it's got to be one of the worst. Between the cold, and the toxic fans are probably the worst.
You know what? I don't think the fans are as bad. We're both on Jets Twitter, so it gets kind of out of hand.
Yeah.
And I think Jets Twitter is more of a negative for that. We see that. Maybe the player, I'm sure lots of the players see that too, but I think the fan base as a whole isn't as bad as the lowest common denominator makes us look.
Just because I run that TikTok page, I see a little bit more of it than I want to, and I gotta delete a lot of crap from there.
Hey guys, stop it.
Yeah, it takes a toll on me too.
He has feelings. He's a human being.
I care about Winnipeg, damn it. But no, it's just I see a lot of, Winnipeg's a bad city for this, blah, blah, blah. I've lived here for 20 years. I hate the city. It's like, move then. Get out of here. You don't need to live here. But it's just I don't know.
There's a lot of good that Winnipeg has to offer.
Yeah, man. And Folk Fest this weekend.
There you go.
I'd be there.
The Exchange District.
Fantastic. Lovely. If you go St. Boniface a Tuesday night, you're bound to find a concert.
The Jets Heritage jerseys, beautiful.
Sick.
That's all. They should just make that the jersey, show it to people, and be like, come on, you want to wear it.
Yeah.
You want to play in this jersey.
You can't find one Winnipegger that doesn't love the Heritage
They're beautiful,
jersey.
And they need to be the first. But we'll get to that
we'll
eventually.
Get there. Sorry, we totally missed that question I asked you. UFAs, Jets targeting anyone? Because I know we got some RFA still in Svech, Appleton, Doobie, not Hendricks. God, I miss Matt Hendricks. Harkins.
Yeah, well, so our D is pretty set. I don't think... one guy I thought maybe to keep an eye on as far as UFAs for D went was John Klingberg, because he has the Rick Bowness connection.
I was wondering about that. Did they get along, or were they...
I don't know. So, Klingberg didn't have great years under Bowness. His plus-minus was atrocious.
Yeah.
But you never know how a guy gets along with a coach. I thought just maybe, but they don't need defensemen. No.
The Jets' defense are they're set, and I believe everyone's going to take a step forward with Bowness.
I agree completely. So, I think the bigger questions are the RFAs and how do you fill out the roster with other players. I hope they sign Svech long term. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, especially with the things that are happening in the world that we agreed that we would not talk about.
Yes, that as well. Appleton, I would love to see them re-sign.
What do you think? He's probably got to be worth 2.5, 2.25.
He didn't have a great year last year, so you might be able to get him for a bit cheaper too.
There we go.
Yeah, but I don't know how he feels about
Winnipeg,
the Jets, because they let him go in the expansion, but they traded him.
But they got him back, and apparently Cheveldayoff had tried 6 or 7 times to be like, "Yo, we'll make a trade work." So, Sanford
gone. I liked Sanford when he came over. I thought he showed some good stuff. Brooks, I think, is gone. Stastny's gone.
Yeah, I'm heartbroken about Stastny. I know we've talked about it before, but I'm gonna be so sad without Stastny. 20 goals, 35 years old. That guy better go to a cup contender, and
he will. He'll get his cup, I think. Well, you never know.
Yeah, but he's gonna get real close this next year.
I think he'll give himself a chance. He might sign league minimum for the team that drafted him, the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, why not? Go back to the team that picked you. Sign for the league minimum. You don't need the money. Get that cup. Yeah. Come on.
Go get your cup.
That's what everyone wants. That's what everyone plays for.
Yeah. 35. Go get your cup, buddy.
One guy I think is going to be a mainstay in the lineup next year is Morgan Barron. Cheap contract. What a Chevy little just throw Morgan Barron in that trade.
Sneaky move. So what do you think Barron's worth though, and where do you put him in? Actually, let's go with where do you put him in the lineup, because the top 6 is pretty well set at this point.
I think he could play alongside Adam Lowry. I know he's a center. I think David Gustafson should be our fourth line center next year. He's earned it, I think. He's an RFA this year, but he'll be back. I think Morgan Barron, you move him out to the wing, and he could play on that third line with Lowry. Adam Lowry makes everyone better.
Yeah. That's just like one of the best third line centermen in the whole NHL. And no one talks about him.
He's the best third line center. Like, I'm sure there's others you could bring up names, but he can park in front of the net on the power play. He's got to be one of the top penalty killers in the NHL.
The shorthanded goals. You know how many times I've gone back to watch those?
He obviously worked on his breakaways last year because it started off rough. He had a lot of shorthanded breakaways. And then he wasn't finishing them, but something clicked.
Yeah. I think once Dad got involved there, he just started firing.
Yeah, so shout out Adam Lowry. Looking forward to having him. I mean, you got... Where does Perfetti go if Wheeler doesn't move?
So I was looking at dailyfaceoff.com for that one. Second line, right-hand side.
Okay.
So you have
so
him
who
there.
goes third line?
Third... Oh, man, I'm blanking here. I think it was Barron, Lowry, and I can't remember who was on the right side with Lowry there. But, like... The Jets looked really good with the lineup that Daily Faceoff.
I mean, so you got Wheeler, Scheifele, Ehlers?
Yes.
Because Dubois and Connor played so well together.
Yeah.
And they played really well together with Cole Perfetti as the third guy on that. Well, they played well together with everyone. They just elevate people. But I think Cole Perfetti would be great on that line. I know the Jets need more right-handed players.
Yeah,
it sucks having Scheifele be a center and also like one of 3 right-handed forwards.
All right, so we've got this pulled up. I don't have an ability to just take my phone and move it. So sorry, you can't look at this. You'll have to go to Daily Faceoff by yourself. So we got on our top line, Pierre-Luc Dubois centering that with Cole Perfetti to the right and Kyle Connor to the left.
I love how that's the top line
right?
now.
So good.
It makes me so happy.
Second line, Scheifele centering, Wheeler to the right, Ehlers to the left. Your third line is Adam Lowry, Appleton, and then Harkins to the left. And Tontonato. Oh, forgot about Tontonato. That's
not even close to how you say his name.
Is it not?
Tontonato.
Wow, I've been butchering that for years.
Where's the T?
I don't know. Svetch to the right. It's already locked in, so too bad.
Yeah.
And then you got Barron playing your fourth line left side.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I still think maybe Gustafson will be the extra guy, rotate in there with Tontonato.
There we go.
Maybe rotate in there with him. You never know how things are going to shake out, how guys are going to play, how injuries will be. But I think, I like Gustafson. Maybe it's just because he was a high round pick.
Yeah.
Like he was our first pick.
But he never had that real shot at the NHL.
They haven't given it to him. No, he's had 28 games. Yes, he only has 1 point, but he was playing under Paul Maurice, so he's probably getting 2.5 minutes a night. So maybe it's just because he was our first pick in that round, but I think it's time to start getting these young guys in games. Obviously, this year, no one's played. Last year's draft, no guys have played for the team yet. The year before that, only Perfetti has. Obviously got injured, so a little shorter season than expected. The year before that, only Villy has. So we've had 2 players of our last 3 drafts play. Before that, it was Gustafson, Smith, and Chisholm, but together they've played 40 games.
With
so
Gusto
you're really
majority.
It's time to start getting these young guys into the lineup. I know the Jets have been in win now, but obviously that hasn't been working. When are you going to give these guys an opportunity? Or you're going to see guys keep leaving, like Nathan Smith, who just said, well, I'm not going to sign here. You better trade me.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be good. Nathan Smith, I think he's going to be a really good
player. Where did he end up getting traded?
Arizona. I'm not sure if he's going to sign there, or if he has already, but I think that'll be, I think he'll be a solid player.
Dang. That's too bad. And how many guys have we let go in the last 5 years where just
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a depressing number.
And a lot of draft picks. But this year's draft was really good to kind of retool that forward pool of prospects that are coming up. So that'll be good moving forward, I think.
Well, and 2 defensemen in this draft as well. I mean, later drafts, but again, you got to feel confident about it.
Yeah.
If the Jets are smart next year, you draft a few defensemen and balance it all out.
This is a big question mark now because of everything that's going on. But Nikita Chibrikov, I think, could be a decent player from last year's draft. And Dmitry Kuzmin, I think he could be a really solid player.
Yeah, he played in the O for the Firebirds. I watched one of those games and he looked good out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm feeling good about him, but again, it's just that walk from the juniors to the minors or even the Jets themselves. So
Absolutely.
we gotta wait a little bit before we get anywhere else. So
we still barely talked about UFAs. I'm so scarred from being a Jets fan and never getting
a UFA.
UFAs that I just you mention it and I completely go sideways to try and avoid the topic.
Well, and as a guy who's still learning the ropes of the Jets, it's UFAs and Winnipeg do not go together. And I mean, growing up an Oilers guy, it's just oh cool, everyone walks away at UFA time. So
and when the Jets do sign a UFA, they overpay for a defenseman who plays pretty well, but people hate him because he got overpaid, which you can't really blame the guy. He's gonna take the money.
Well, yeah, like Brendan Dillon, I think he got a fair treatment there, and
he wasn't a UFA though. That was a trade.
Was that? Oh yeah, that was a trade. My bad. I forgot about
seconds,
that.
I think it was.
And then
that's why the Jets didn't have their own second this year.
And Schmidt was
a third.
Yeah, I can't believe Nate Schmidt was a third.
Yeah, it was the guy I was thinking of when I was saying they got overpaid. Dmitry Kulikov. He was a great defenseman. He was. Okay, great. Maybe not great.
The Oilers seem like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Not a great defenseman. He was a serviceable, good, top 4 NHL defenseman. Not top 2. He slid right into that middle 2 perfectly. The Jets overpaid for him because that's the only way you could get a Russian to come from Florida to Winnipeg. It's true.
I know.
But he was still a solid defenseman. Everyone who's he shouldn't even be in the lineup. BS.
Yeah. Didn't know what they're talking about. That's why the Oilers are going after him as hard as they are this year.
He was solid for Minnesota last year.
Yeah, Minnesota. I think he was with Montreal earlier this year, and he was doing a half-decent job with them for as bad as they were playing. So he's not a bad player. He's definitely a top 4 guy, and I don't know why anyone thinks he would be anything higher than
I have a former Jets. Where do you think he'll go? Question.
All right.
Ben Sherrod.
Ben Sherrod.
He sucked in the playoffs.
He sucked hard. I can't believe
I could not believe how much Florida gave up for him.
Farm for that guy.
Yeah, I was a big fan of him when he was a Jet.
Yeah.
I was sad to see him go, but what do you think?
Ben Sherrod.
What do you think he gets? Throw out a number.
Benny Sherrod. Well, with that playoff run sucked.
Yeah, but he's a big, tough defenseman, and there will be a stupid GM out there.
There's always a stupid GM. There's 32 of them, and somehow they all collectively make the wrong decisions. I wish I could be that bad at my job. I think Kulikov, he's got to be worth or not Kulikov, Sherrod. I bet you somebody pays him $5.5, $6 mil.
Yeah,
for
I could
4
see
years.
that happening.
Somebody's stupid enough that they believe that he's going to turn them around. 4 years for $6 mil.
Wait, let's see. I'm writing this down next weekend when we do this because free agency will have started. Yeah. We'll see. So, what did you say? 4 by 6?
4 by 6.
Okay.
What's your idea here?
I have no idea. Like I said, I'm not the contract guy. Don't ask me. I'll be, I don't know, giving a player who sucks way too much money. Because I'm a Jets fan.
Yeah, you're a Jets fan. You know what I
want them to come here. So.
Yeah, I just love yelling about things, so that's why I chose to follow the Jets, and somebody offered me money, so it's a win-win. Okay, so now that we've tried to get to the UFA talk,
we did our best.
We did our best. There's no one that I could see coming to Winnipeg. Yeah, I'd like to see them try to pick up a right winger. That's about it. Andre Kasha from Toronto might be a guy because they won't be able to afford him.
If he comes, though, I will just call him Case because I'm dumb and that's how his name's spelled, so that's what he's.
Yeah, because I do stuff for the Leafs Nation as well.
Boo.
I know it's a big boo, but it pays me money, and money is king right now. Either way, I don't love myself for it. You have to sell out every now and then, kids.
Yeah, you're wearing a Toronto hat too. We're just gonna.
Hey man, the Blue Jays are all they suck right now, but. They're all right. We all like them.
They're doing their best.
They're
fun to watch.
They're fun. Vladdy Guerrero, we love him.
Yeah.
You had a question about the jerseys, and I'd like to get into that.
Right here. That's all I need to say. They would, without a doubt, I love these jerseys.
Yeah.
I love the classic, now classic, I guess, current Jets jerseys. It's time. Everyone, you've seen Calgary, Ottawa, Arizona.
Edmonton's going back to their 06 jersey.
Edmonton. As long as they don't wear those ugly ones they wear in the playoffs always. Those are horrid.
Which ones are you talking?
Oh,
those dark blue ones?
They're
Gross.
so ugly.
No, they're getting rid of those.
Why do they always wear them in the playoffs?
I don't know, and I think it's just because they hate their fans.
They deserve to get swept by
They
the Jets
do
last year.
every year.
Wow,
That was such a fun series too. Lowest scoring sweep ever.
yeah, which is shocking with those two teams.
Right? It's like that should have
Thank
been
you, Connor Hellebuck.
Oh, Connor Hellebuck and Neil Pionk. Like those two.
Oh, Pionk just shut down McDavid.
Yeah. Well, growing up watching McDavid get shut down by a Buffalo every single night is like, this Jets guy, I don't know who he is, but he's a menace to society.
Yeah.
And
whenever I think Jets and Oilers, I just think of that Gadzik hit.
Gadzik
I was
hit.
in the building. It was electric.
The amount of times I've gone to watch that one, because I'm like...
I go back to it a lot. It was like, Gadzik's massive, and he just did a full flip. It was incredible.
Yeah, I met Luke Gadzik once. Nicest human
Did you
being.
ask him about it? Was his neck a little crooked?
I didn't ask him about that because I was like, I think that's a little bit rough still.
Of course.
But but yeah, Luke Gadzik, he's a big Saskatchewan boy.
And just seems like the nicest person. I've heard him interviewed. He just seems like a genuinely nice person.
And I've heard that Bufflin legitimately was calling out to Gadzik that he's going to run him.
No, that was the Mark Stone
Was
one.
that the Mark Stone one?
Mark Stone hit where he just stopped him in his tracks. He was apparently like, heads up, I'm going to kill you. And then he did.
And then he killed Mark Stone. So, going back to the logo, you would like to see that come back?
Like the white ones I thought were so nice when they came out. Those blue heritage jerseys are
the best in the NHL.
They're so nice. And that it's the same progression that Arizona had. They made the Kachina the thirds.
Yeah.
Then they made it the homes, and now it's home and away. Skip the middle part. Just go right to heritage. You got Rick Bowness coming back to coach. It's perfect. He wore it as a player. He coached. Did he play for the
Jets?
Yeah, I thought so. I second guessed myself, but he wore it as a player. He coached it as a head coach and an assistant coach. I think you got Scott Arniel. Like, if we're throwing it back to the 80s, might as well do it the proper way and have the nicest jerseys in the NHL.
Opening night, do you have Rick Bowness, Scott Arniel go out to center ice to introduce the brand new jerseys? Like, you don't tell anyone about it?
No, you have to announce it before.
You think?
I
think you just go in with like the old wrestling moves and you're just like, surprise! This is a big shock to everyone.
How do you do warm up?
I think you just warm up with the old jerseys and then everyone, I don't know.
But
you just
also
go for
the logo at center would have to be different.
Ah, true.
All of the ads and stuff would have to be different. I think you just rip off the Band-Aid this summer and you just go with the nicest jerseys in the NHL. The rich look of the white, blue, and red gloves, the red pants, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just do it.
It was the right move. It should have been the jersey when they came back.
No? I really like...
You like these
I
ones?
like these.
It took me a long time to get sold on the blues.
I like the logo. I like the blues more than the whites.
Do you? I like the whites more than the blues.
Hey,
that's a me thing, but that's...
Our good buddy Rutger McGody, he said nicest jerseys in the NHL are the current ones.
All right.
So
Rutger can't be
he
lying.
said blues his favorite color. So
did you see him in that suit?
Man, he's gonna be good.
Yeah, but did you see him in a suit? Like, that guy knows how to dress.
He's gonna wear a letter for the Winnipeg Jets before too long.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. That's something that makes me happy. All right, well, that's pretty much everything I had that did not get into geopolitics and hockey. So
and I refuse to do that because we're a hockey podcast. Neither of us have. We have diplomas for broadcasting. We don't have political degrees or anything like that. So we're just going to stick to hockey because we're dumb and we know hockey.
We know hockey. So thank you so much for tuning in to... I'm going to call this Jets Nation Radio 2.0, just like 2.0 Jets, because 1.0 just didn't work out the first time. So welcome into Jets Nation Radio 2.0. Tune in, tell your friends, tell your aunties, your moms, your dads, whoever. Tell your neighbors.
Tell your aunties.
Yeah,
make sure.
Make sure you tell your aunties, though. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll chat with you again next Sunday.
Be there.
Be there, or I don't know. What else are you doing on a Sunday night in July?
There you go.
Nothing else is more entertaining, so you know where to be. Peace and grace, friends.